Welcome back! Miguel from Nigel's Krypt, Discount Knocked Loose Member Edition. And today, we got a lot of killer stuff to talk about. I'm really excited to make this video because all the bands I'm talking about today are from my home state of Minnesota. And all of them are new releases. So let's not waste any time and let's get straight into it. And that first band we're talking about is called Agony Reigns, and their new album, which is set to release November 13th, The Tragedy in Understanding Nothing. And I know you're asking yourself, I thought we were talking about new releases. I'm good friends with these guys, and they were kind enough to send me their brand new record early, which I am just so hyped about. And before you ask, no, Agony Reigns is currently not holding me for ransom to talk about this record, I promise you. That's enough of that. Let's get straight into this new record. Firstly, this album starts off with a nice, slow, melodic intro before it kicks straight into the band's first single, Necrosis, and it's just a blistering track. It goes all out. And the first thing I noticed hearing that song was the gang style vocals. There's 3 different people contributing vocals on this record, and it's heavy as shit, and I feel terrible for what these boys did to that poor mic. And then the song ends on a nice, almost triumphant ending, almost signifying that this is only the beginning. And that's what I got out of that song. I and Necrosis are truly 2 great intro tracks that set the tone for what this entire record is going to be. And then it leads into their bassy third song, Ruination, which is also the band's newest single, which was released 2-3 days ago, I believe, and there's a new music video for it, and that will be linked down below. Other than those 3 songs I just mentioned, the production is another thing I've noticed. The production on this record is insane. It's killer. It's bassy, the guitars are crunchy, the vocals are nicely mixed in there. Overall, this is a very nicely mixed record. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there. Other than that, this record isn't afraid to slow down just a little bit, especially on songs like Apathetic Entity. It starts with a nice, slow, almost intro as well, and then it kicks your ass again. While it does slow down at times, it also, for the most part, this record is extremely heavy. It utterly kicks ass, and it set the standard for what this band is going to be doing moving forward, because their last EP, Death From Within, was more of a groovy, thrashy album, whereas this one is more of a metalcore album with heavy influences of groove and thrash. And this record, it blew my expectations out of the water. And I'd also like to talk about the final 2 tracks, but I'm not going to talk about them a lot because these 2 songs are truly the best on this record. It has a nice slow build-up with the song C, and then it kicks in with the final title track. And that's all I gotta say about that, because those 2 songs, my expectations were already high for this record, because I heard the EP, and these guys sounded promising already, but these last 2 songs specifically, I was completely shocked at how great these songs are. And it has one of the best solos on the record, too, I'd say. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to get into any more about it because I want you guys to hear these final 2 songs the way I did without spoiling too much. This band is going places with this brand new record, and I'm already excited to hear their next output. The Tragedy in Understanding Nothing is releasing on November 13th. I will be posting links to where you can get this new record. Please check it out. The band we are talking about is Coffin Rites, with their new album, Human Erase, which was released September 21st on FTWNU2 Records. Coffin Rite, which was known as Coffin Rot, but they changed their name to avoid confusion with this Coffin Rot right here. They changed it to avoid confusion, and they thought Coffin Rites was a more suiting name, and I absolutely agree. They released 1 album in 2018 called Retribution Divine, no demos, no nothing. And then they released a few singles and covers. And then here we are in 2021 with their brand new record, Human Erase. This band offers up a disgusting blend of blackened death thrash is the best way to put it. It's utterly killer too, because there is a very small death thrash scene in Minneapolis, and as far as I know, I think Coffin Rites is the only one I know of that does this mixture of death thrash, and it's a shame. Hopefully more bands will do it. This band packs all the punches with the first song, Buried in Blood, which is an absolute ripper of a track, and the first 4 songs on this record absolutely kill. It's straight to the point, pummeling, brutality. But this album does slow down at points. It slows down with the song The Night Speaks, which is a very beautifully written acoustic instrumental interlude. And it's almost like this one is just giving you a quick breather for what's to come. Because once that song is said and done, it goes right in with the song The Mask of Sanity, which lets loose such a disgusting, snarly scream before it rips in with their vocalist, absolutely brutal, snarly, blackened death thrash vocals. And I just think it's great when it offers you this nice little slowdown just to start kicking your ass all over again. One thing to note on here is the mix in particular is really good on this record as well. The guitars sound good, the drums sound awesome, but I guess my only real complaint with this record would be the bass at times isn't the most audible. But at that point, I'm just nitpicking when I talk about inaudible bass at times, because it's really not that big of a deal, but when you do hear the bass on this record, it's killer. Another track to take note of is Last Nail in the Coffin. It's got this nice little drummy, bassy, Suicidal Tendencies-esque intro to it, which I think is a nice little blend in there, because you can clearly see they were influenced by Suicidal just a little bit in that song, and I think it really adds up. And then you get to the song The Beginning of the End, and this acoustic intro is also acoustic, but at the same time this one feels different. The beginning of the end is clearly signifying, obviously, this record's about to end, and then once it's over, it gives you easily the best song on this record, the title track, Human Erase, which is almost 8 minutes long, which is another epic song with a nice build-up, and it's extremely heavy, and it slows down just to come back and pummel you all over again. This is another record that sets the standard for what Minnesota death metal can be. Them and Agony Reigns are playing 2 shows together, which I got right here. Make sure to go check them out and support both bands. I'm going to have this as well linked in. It is well worth the money and time. Seriously, check this out. Last but certainly not least, we are talking about Wanderer and their new album, Liberation from a Brutalist Existence, which was released June 18th on Badmouth Recordings. This band plays a mix of remedial, mathcore, DB, death grind, and grindcore with heavy hints of death metal on top of it. This is truly a stew of genres, and they are all incorporated beautifully. I am very new to the more mathcore infused and mathcore genre in general, so hearing some of the mathcore influences on this record, it mixes really well with grind, and I really like just how unique sounding this album is. And I'm so glad I discovered this band, because this is another band that truly represents how great this Minnesota scene is, and it's just a damn shame how underground our scene is, because there's so many quality bands that just get swept under the rug, and it upsets me sometimes. Enough of my ranting. Under 25 minutes, this band has a message, and they get it straight to the point on this record. Some noticeable tracks on this are Marionette, which is easily my favorite song off the record. So heavy, and such a heavy breakdown in it. Mind Lease, Abrasion, Bloom, Hellhole, and Frost Cage are also extreme highlights on this record. But the thing is, every song on here is amazing in its own way. So it's kind of hard to pick a favorite track at times, too. It took me over 10 listens to even understand which song I love the most on here. If you are a fan of grind and want to try something a little bit new, Sounding, seriously, check this out. And for a three-piece, these guys sound utterly massive. The dude's guitar tone on here sounds disgusting, and their vocalist sounds angry as hell. Other than that, I'm going to be posting this as well, where to get it, because seriously, this record is worth your time as well as the other ones. Oh, different camera angle time. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I honestly don't think I did any of the band's justice on this video because I'm just so nervous to talk about the local scene. I love it so much, and I really wanted to do this scene proud. So please check out the bands and all their associated links in the description. I also want to shout out Matt, the vocals of Agony, for being so kind to send me their brand new record early so I could talk about it on the channel. It's not going to disappoint. You're absolutely going to love it. I'm not kidding. Agony Reigns is set to play a show October 16th with Coffin Rites, and it's another release show for another band I'm going to be talking about on the channel. And Agony Reigns themselves is going to be having their album release show November 13th. So if you're in the local area, consider checking out. You get a free CD with admission. Make sure to support underground metal and stay evil.